fans, and welcome to another episode of Silver Screams Reacts. Tonight we are talking to you guys about the second trailer for Ghostbusters. We were out of town last week when this trailer dropped, so neither of us have watched it, and
We've stayed spoiler free.
Props to us for not having seen it already. Not for lack of social media trying, because we had to fight to not see this trailer.
Facebook autoplay is a bitch.
So is Twitter. But I don't think I've ever seen any, a more divisive movie than this. And we'll talk about it in a minute after we watch it. But yeah, people are really torn on this. And this trailer very much ties into that from what I can tell. Let's not waste any time. Let's go ahead and get to what may or may not make or break the movie for us. I don't know. We'll see.
Let's do this.
Let's do this.
It will haunt you every night.
Oh, hello.
Whatever it is, no one should have to encounter that kind of evil. Except you girls, I think you can handle it.
Oh, good.
We have a gift. We see what no one else is willing to see.
Ooh.
We do things others can't do.
Ghostbusters.
If there's a paranormal problem, we're the ones to answer the call.
Hello.
Okay.
It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
What do we think of these Ghostbusters? Are they to be taken seriously?
I'll take the far one.
Okay, you sweaty freaks. I'm about to save you from this ghost.
Of course.
Okay, so I don't know if it was a race thing or a lady thing, but I'm mad as hell.
There's a bigger picture at
Song.
hand here.
Someone is creating a device that amplifies paranormal activity.
We're gonna need a bigger boat.
You dork.
Hey guys, check it out.
Oh,
Come inside.
I was born to be a Ghostbuster, all right?
oh no.
Oh man, that's so not good.
Oh no. Chris Hemsworth.
Something big is going to happen.
The word we're looking for is apocalypse. You want a piece of this? Yeah.
The government's trying to claim the event isn't supernatural.
We don't want a panic. We don't want mass hysteria.
Get out of the city. Get out of the city. I will kick the unliving crap out of you, and you, especially you. Hey, don't move. You got a.
No, I'm tired.
No, listen.
I'm just gonna go ahead and take off. How about that?
I don't really think that's a good idea.
No, going to take off. Don't piss off the ghost. Really?
Whoa. Was that?
The Ghostbusters logo writ large?
Wow.
A little bit. I'm down.
This one
down.
looks like it took a lot of notes from the international trailer that they released. I want to say 2 months ago, because not long after
the first one.
Not long after the first one, the international one was released, and it was much better than the first one. Because even we were kind of wishy-washy on the first trailer. We're definitely pro female Ghostbusters.
Oh my god,
that.
yes.
But I like this trailer. This one, like I said, it took notes from the international one, which was better than the first one, and it actually had the song. And I think after the first trailer was released, someone did a fan cut of the trailer where they changed the timing of a few jokes and they added this song, and everyone was like, yes, on board with that, except of course for everybody who has no faith in this movie,
Or is just outright sexist.
whether that's because they're outright sexist or because they don't want to see their nostalgia messed with because of reboot, whatever, or because they just don't think it looks funny. And that's
Admittedly,
something...
most of that stems from outright sexist.
A lot of it does, but here's the thing. You can dislike this without being sexist. You really can.
Yes.
And that's what I think a lot of advocates for this movie really need to keep in mind, because for some people this just isn't their sense of humor.
Yeah.
And so I think for a lot of people who are defending this movie, who really want it to be good, saying, oh, you guys just don't like it because you're sexist, that's gonna be like a lot of people have had the knee-jerk reaction of no, we're not sexist, this movie just looks like it sucks. And that's not fair on either side. Because guys, this is either going to be your sense of humor or it's not. And whether or not sexist, whether being unintentional or intentional leanings ties into that, that's not for me to judge. But for people who are giving, I don't know, death threats to the cast,
That's a problem.
Yeah, that's a problem.
See, for something like this, yeah, it's perfectly fine not to be up for it, not to be interested. Like,
Or
yeah,
again,
no, hang on,
just
that's
not wanting
hang on.
reboots. Yeah.
That's a valid opinion. But you do need to step back and examine that opinion and say, okay, is it because I was never a fan of Ghostbusters in the first place? Is it because this looks like it's going to be more of a guy comedy and that's not my speed? Is it because of X? And you need to examine, is it because I've been conditioned to believe that women aren't as funny as men? That is a thing. That is actually a quantifiable thing, and that's really
Yes, it
sad.
is.
Is it because I don't think these roles that have been played by men can be played by women? If that's the case, why is that? Like, this is something where if your knee-jerk reaction is, I don't like it, it's worth stepping back and examining that and going, why? Because knee-jerk sexism is a thing, it's in society, a lot of us, most of us are raised with it. And so it's worth stepping back and examining your opinions and seeing if any of those prejudices are the base of them, and not sitting there and going, I'm a terrible person, I don't like this, but going, huh, you know, I wasn't aware that that was something that was that deeply programmed. I'm going to need to think about that. And it's worth stepping back and examining why. It's not worth self-flagellation. It is really not worth death threats. Holy cow, you guys, breathe. But if your knee-jerk reaction is, I don't like it because they're girls and they can't do this, you got a problem.
Yeah, and
You got a problem.
The first one was making nerd headlines a couple weeks ago because the first trailer is apparently the most disliked trailer in YouTube history, which, take that with a grain of salt. Because
Well, this one's pretty amazingly disliked as well.
of course it is, because people are currently predisposed to dislike this movie for one reason or another. And let's face it, the vocal minority can be very vocal.
Like Gamergate.
Very vocal.
So
But
many
I can also
problems.
understand disliking this movie if you think the female angle is a gimmick that ultimately hurts feminism as opposed to like kind of pushing it forward, like the whole like, oh, we made a Daredevil movie, let's make an Elektra movie without actually
Giving a shit about anything.
caring.
Then again,
Yeah.
Daredevil and Elektra were both really bad. The movies. Netflix is different.
Different, yes. But I was using that as an example. Or
Yeah.
we have a Batman franchise, let's make a Catwoman movie and not care. You know,
It's that sort of thing. But I need to find the article. Someone wrote an article about this new Ghostbusters movie saying, you know what, if you've got an issue with it, fine, but step back and let it breathe. Because you had these characters when you were growing up, and they were maybe your idols, and maybe you wanted to be a scientist or whatever because of this. Let a little girl who is watching this now have these characters. Because it is so hard to get female characters in any role that isn't pin-up or bitch
Or the girlfriend.
or the
Or the
girlfriend or the
mom.
one-dimensional whatever. Like, she's a strong female character. No, she's a pin-up with high-heeled steel-toed boots who is still definitely there for the man's gratification, even though she is ostensibly the main character. This is a thing that happens a whole hell of a lot. So if we're gonna have a movie with 4 female main characters, 3 of whom are scientists who are allowed to not be pretty all the time, who are allowed to make mistakes and have it not be, oh, I'm clumsy and that's my flaw. Have it not be, yeah, they're allowed to be people. Admittedly, they're people in a comedy, so everything is kind of ridiculously
it's
large.
hyperbole.
It
yes.
is, but they're allowed to be people, and it's not just, here is the woman. It's It's like, no, here are our characters, and most of them are women, and then, we kind of have a sexy guy secretary. And, that happens in real life, too, sometimes. I've seen a few of them. In LA, this is not an uncommon occurrence. And so, even if it's not your speed, even if you're not interested in it, even if you don't think it's going to be good, step back and let the people who have been waiting for this, and let the people who have grown up or are growing up without role models of their race, their gender, their anything, let them have this. Even if you don't like it, even if you don't think it's going to be good, hell, even if it's not good, let them have it. Because not everything is for you, and that's fine. But let the people who need this have it.
And that's the thing, is this new one, and this is the thing to also, and this is something I need to keep in mind as well, with reboots and remakes and stuff like that. Even if something is getting rebooted or remade, it's not taking away the original. It's not. And this is something I need to remind myself anytime I go off on a rant about the reboot of A Nightmare on Elm Street or Friday the 13th or any of those, remakes of classics. It's not taking away that thing that is a classic. Anytime I want to go off on a rant about the Rob Zombie Halloween movies, moving forward, I need to sit down and remind myself that doesn't take away the John Carpenter ones. Yeah. That doesn't take away everything that I like about the previous movies. It was just a misstep from somebody trying to retell this story.
And you're allowed to do the whole, I reject your reality and substitute my own thing.
Because I do!
In the same way of, Heroes only had one season. Like, you're allowed to just kind of go, no. And that's not sitting there and going, oh my god, you liked season 3, you're a terrible human being, it was bad because of this. It's just like, I'm just not even going to address it.
I can sit here and go, I can pretend the Rob Zombie Halloween movies don't exist without looking at somebody who likes and enjoys them and saying you're a terrible person and you should feel bad about yourself because those are crappy movies. That's absolutely, and that
makes you a dick.
See, and that's
the problem.
And that's the thing with this new movie is it seems that everybody who is not on board with it wants to attack the cast, wants to attack everybody who's involved with it, and the people who are excited for it. They want to attack them for some reason, which isn't fair to the people who are just objectively like, no, it's not for me, and it's not fair to the people who are excited for it because it creates this divisive mentality of us versus them. It's like you're either pro this movie or against it, and you have to pick a side, which is stupid, guys.
You're allowed to be ambivalent. You're allowed to have opinions. But again, whatever your opinions are, they are always worth examining. And that can be applied for any movie, video game, book, whatever that you like or you dislike. It's always worth stepping back and going, why do I like this character? Why do I dislike this character? Why does this plot point bother me? What is so great about this book that I adore? Why did I throw this one across the room and then attempt to burn it? Like,
And you'll learn something about yourself, too.
You will. And hopefully that'll help make you a better person.
And let's step down from our soapboxes for just a second.
I live here.
And talk about the trailer itself, because I'm still not on board with all of the CGI, although I will say some of the stuff they showed here was really cool. Seeing the ghosts against the panel or picture frame or whatever that was really cool. Seeing
the dragon.
The dragon was funny.
The selfie joke, just like, God bless.
I'm still not crazy about the overly CGI aesthetic, but it is stylized, so I'm willing to give it a chance, and I'm sure that it's all for the 3D whatever, which I'm not crazy about 3D, but I get it. I'm always going to be the type of person that's like, practical effects! So, again, who appreciated the puppets and stuff. Not to say that the old ones had the best of effects, but
Stay puffed, man. Stay puffed, man.
But this looks interesting and it looks very stylized, so it has that to its credit.
I will say, I think this trailer spit out a little too much plot. The scene with Chris Hemsworth getting possessed and then later seeing him standing in front of a device is like, oh, well, it's not super hard to put 2 and 2 together there now, is it?
I was just concerned because Chris Hemsworth plus horror movies plus motorcycle doesn't end well. Doesn't end well for anybody who knows what I'm talking about.
And if you don't know what we're talking about,
you should know what we're talking about. Don't give it away.
Figure out how to recommend the movie without giving things away.
You can't.
You
So let's just move on.
Yeah.
All in all, I mean, decent trailer. Again, it learned from the mistake of the other one by actually having the song in it. Maybe fair assessment, giving away a little bit too much of the plot. But we still don't see a whole lot of the actual bad guy, which I think is a good choice because we already know who the bad guy is. He's been cast and everything like that. We still don't know a ton about his motives and about whether or not he's going to be successful. I think that they showed probably a little bit more than they should, but not enough to spoil the movie.
And every trailer does that at
Exactly.
this point, and it's just super annoying. Like, we're going to give away everything. Like, stop. I was already sold. Don't.
But again, this one looks like it took notes and then gave us this. So I appreciate
down
it.
for this movie. I am gonna go see this movie. I am super intrigued. This looks like a lot of fun. I'm in.
The more I see from it, the more I want to get excited. I'm still one of those people that has a hard time working myself up to get excited for anything because I hate that crushing disappointment. But this looks, from an objective standpoint and from like a pro-feminist
There is
standpoint,
no
all
such
that
thing as an objective standpoint when
You're
it comes
right.
to this movie anymore. There just isn't.
Sadly. Because again, this us versus them mentality, if I have to pick a side, I am pro this movie. It looks cool. It looks like it has really good comedic elements. Whether or not those will come together in the right way has yet to be seen. It looks like it has a decent style to it. I want to see this movie. And that's the bottom line is I don't feel obligated to see this movie. I want to see this movie.
Same here.
Yeah.
I'm down. I am in. Sign me up.
I mean, and it would be awful if it was like another type of remake where I'm like, ugh, like the new Hellraiser movie that they're working on. I feel like I have to see that movie because I love the franchise. I don't want to see it. This one, completely different. It's like I'm on board for what I'm seeing.
So, what did you guys think of it?
Yes.
And also, examine your opinions. Like, I know I've said this like 4 times, but honestly, as someone who now makes a point of stepping back and going, is there a reason that I don't like this?
Is there a reason I don't like this
helps.
character?
It helps to sit there and be like, why is this, why do I think this?
Little self-reflection never hurt anybody.
Exactly. Speaking with people who have different experiences than you, all that fun stuff, like, it all really helps. So, for a movie that has so much controversy before it ever even comes out, this is definitely something that's worth doing. So,
now,
remember to do that.
And I want to know, what kind of ghost do you guys want to see in the movie, if you choose to go see it? I was all on board. I mean, we were talking about the Uncle Sam ghost.
Stiltwalker.
Uncle Sam Stiltwalker. I like the Victorian-looking ones that are walking around.
They're in New York, right?
Yeah.
I want a plague of ghost subway rats.
There's that.
So many dead rats.
I don't know if they have ghosts of animals in. I don't remember any.
Make up the rules. I don't care.
I'm thinking gangs of New York ghosts. That'd be cool. That'd be super sweet. Like, I'm talking like Daniel Day-Lewis, like 1900s gangs of New York stuff. Like, those ghosts would be cool to see.
Yeah. Sign me up.
All right, well, that just about wraps it up. Katie, where can people go if they want to find you?
On Twitter at Kiaxet. That's Kiaxet.
And I'm Megan. You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at The Menguin. That's TheMenguin. Be sure to follow Silver Screams on Twitter and Instagram at Silver_Screams. Like us on Facebook. All that cool jazz. Can't wait to see what you guys had to say about this trailer. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will see you all next time.